Welcome to this week's news episode. On this week's news episode we're going to be looking at a couple of things. Some spy shots from the Zoe, an all-wheel drive Tesla Model 3, Beverly Hills have banned some PHEVs, and a motor body thinks the car grant scheme is unfair. So the Alliance of British Drivers, ABD for short if you like, think it's a really daft concept that the government will give you a £4,500 grant towards an electric car. They think that this should be abandoned and that a tax for new cars of £500 should be introduced. So when you tax a new car, you have the vehicle excise duty that's applied to all new cars, which is currently around about £1,000. And they think at the moment EVs paying zero is unfair. They should pay £500, and the £4,500 grant towards a new EV should also be scrapped. Just to note, it only applies to EVs under £45,000 when new, so pretty much all the Teslas won't be covered under that. The Model 3 will obviously fall below that 45 grand, so it will still receive a £4,500 grant. Now, really, a motoring body should be for the motorists, and therefore encouraging these discounts and the uptake. But obviously these diesel-loving Volkswagen fans don't like the fact that new car sales on diesel cars is falling rapidly, yet EV sales are taking off. They seem to forget that not long ago there was a scrappage scheme in the UK that gave people money towards scrapping their old car for a new car. They fully supported that scheme, but the scheme about trying to get people out of those poor performing diesel cars and polluting petrols and into the new electronic cars, they think that's a bad idea for motorists. Now, obviously, I completely disagree with them, and I think they're complete loons and idiots. And really, any motoring group should be encouraging discounts on new cars. In a way, the government discount of £4,500 on a new car is actually a cost-neutral system for the government, because they get a sale on a new car. The VAT recovered in that new car pretty much covers the £4,500 on pretty much every EV sold at the moment anyway. So for the government, it's a win situation for them. They get to lower the carbon emissions for the UK, and they also get the money back and encourage car sales into the electric car industry. The UK want to be the big country that push for electric car sales and autonomous driving, and the only way you're ever going to push that the UK are first in all these is if you encourage the adoption of these cars. So if I was you and you're a member of the ALD, tell them that you're retracting your membership for them loving diesels and not giving a crap about their customers. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. The subscribe button down the bottom, big red thing, lets me know that you like my channel, lets me make more content. The more subscribers I have, the more my channel grows, the more videos I can produce. Beverly Hills have banned PHEVs from public charging stations. This might seem like a bit of a bizarre move, but in Beverly Hills there is a huge amount of PHEVs, similar to obviously high-powered BMW i8s, i4s, basically various high-powered PHEVs and non-high-powered PHEVs. But there's a lot of PHEVs in Beverly Hills, and fully electric car owners are unable to use public charging spots to charge the car, which means they are obviously unable to get home. So Beverly Hills has now banned PHEVs from charging at public charging stations. They have also going to start towing cars that are not charging and cars that are not plugged in, which are parked in charging bays. So it won't just be a ban on PHEVs being charged there, it'll also be a ban on cars that are electric but just not charging. So in some respects it's a great move, it's a great step forward. It's a little bit harsh banning all PHEVs from public charging stations. Maybe they need to increase some infrastructure and add a few more low-powered charging units for PHEV cars. If it's getting to the point that there's that many electric plug-in vehicles available, then punishing people who buy PHEVs and not allowing them to charge public seems like a bit of a daft move. Really, you should be installing more infrastructure to allow them to charge publicly. But the problem is, and obviously I'm looking at it from a European point of view, from a non-European point of view, their power over there tends to be 110 voltage AC, so it's quite a slow charging network. So they have a lot of DC charging points, so pretty much all their public chargers are rapid chargers, which is why you'll obviously they put this ban into ban PHEVs from plugging into them. It does mean that fully electric car owners will be able to get home without worrying about getting a charge. So it's a good start from Beverly Hills, but I'd say really if you're getting to the point where they're all being full up, maybe introduce more chargers. And the other stuff is great, towing people who aren't charging or have finished a charging session and that haven't returned in an appropriate time. That's a great move. I fully agree with that. But banning all PHEVs just because they're all there's a lot of them, you should be encouraging maybe more charging points, or even setting a time limit for how long a PHEV can be there compared to an EV car. That would be a better solution maybe. Now, I've been sent some Zoe SPY shots. At the moment they are completely unconfirmed. I don't know if they're from a new test model, the new R110. I have no idea what they're from. All I know is it's from a Zoe. The two things that give it away that it's a Zoe are, when you look at the SPY shot photo, it's very clearly the old style cloth in the Zoe, not the new style cloth. So it does seem to appear that it wouldn't be from a new model, but it's very possible it's a test model. You can tell it's a Zoe because of this interior, which is quite obviously a Zoe interior, and then the shape of the way the dash fits in here is obviously a Zoe as well. What is apparent though in the SPY picture is this is gone, which would make a lot of sense not to have in an electric car, because you don't really have automatic gears like a normal car, and these have been replaced by a park button and a drive button and a reverse button, which make a little bit more sense. But the main thing that I've noticed is obviously the major part down here is in my Zoe we've obviously got a handbrake, and in the one on the picture there is no handbrake. The handbrake's gone for an electronic handbrake. Now they've obviously got rid of it for the electronic handbrake, and I reckon that we'll probably see that on newer Zoes. Very, very, very possibly the R110, but I doubt it, and the reason I doubt it is the photos that Renault released at the press release show a handbrake, and they show obviously the gear shift device. Oh, I've forgotten the automatic gear pedal. It's not there. Give me a comment in the section below, because I can't bloody remember the name of it. But they've got in the photos it clearly has it. As you can see by the photos, the new R110 clearly has one. So it could be a very, very early test model of maybe a 50 kilowatt pack, or it could just be a test run of is it practical in the real world. Renault tend to test their models quite sort of extensively before releasing them, so they're probably a test model. Will we see any of these features come? Probably not the buttons, but I reckon we will see the automatic handbrake button, so we'll get rid of the old-fashioned pull handbrake and it will go to an electronic handbrake. I suspect that they will probably put an electronic handbrake in. These photos could also be the new Clio. It could be a SPY shot from the new Clio, and they've pinched a lot of the bits from the old Zoe to use it. So they are very, very unconfirmed. I don't know until further details come out. But I do suspect it is a Zoe, and I do suspect it's a test model. I don't really feel that positive that it's an R110. I feel it's a very early test model and they're testing certain new ideas. Also, it appears that the cruise control and cruise limit switch has also been moved. So whether that's because it's a test model and they just don't put it in, or maybe they've moved it to a new location like the steering wheel. So Tesla have announced that they're going to make an all-wheel drive Model 3. Or less Tesla, more Elon Musk said that by the time they hit 5,000 units, they will start adding some complexities to the Model 3 design. He predicts that this will probably be July. So being Elon Musk, that probably means December, sort of, or September the year after. Elon Musk tends to be a over-promiser, under sort of achiever sometimes. I mean, at the end of the day, Elon probably wants it ready for July to get to that kind of many units. Whether that's practical, I don't know. I think the thing about Elon is he's over positive about things, and he holds himself very austere to hitting certain targets that, yes, he doesn't achieve, but in all practical sense of a company, they're not achievable for any company. But I think he tries to set overachievable targets to force him to make those targets, which you've got to applaud. I mean, really, should he sort of divulge and say these things? before they're ready? No, probably not, but don't forget he said it on his personal Twitter page. It's not actually a press statement or anything direct from Tesla. It's just Elon saying he reckons by July we'll hit 5,000 units. We'll add some complexity, so that means you'll be able to order all-wheel drive or other complex features to the Model 3 which aren't currently available. Obviously, we're probably waiting for a press release launch very shortly, which we expect is going to be the new Model Y being announced very shortly. So that's going to be coming very soon off Elon as well. So they're going to be producing a hell of a lot of models. Just to give you an idea of how many cars Tesla produced at the end of 2017, of Model S and X's, they produced, where's my notes, 28,425 cars of just S and X's, and at the end of 2017, don't forget they started the Model 3 that year, they produced 1,542 Model 3s. So they reckon by July, well, Elon reckons by July they'll hit 5,000 units, which is it's quite a lot to sort of ramp your production up to. But if you remember the early part of the year, they halted Model 3 production temporary while they rejigged the factory to improve automation and improve the amount of cars that they could deliver and send out the factory. So by the time the Model 3 hits the UK, it's more than likely Model 3 buyers in the UK will be able to order all-wheel drive straight off the bat. So if you've got a Model 3 deposit holding in the UK, more than likely if you do want the all-wheel drive model when it gets released in the UK, it will probably be available. Same for anyone else in the rest of Europe, you'll probably be able to order it straight off the bat. Thanks very much for watching this week's video. Don't forget to check down the videos here, don't forget to subscribe to me clicking here, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.